I've got nothing to say, cheers.
There's some sort of mashed potato style metalwork. Ate lots of cheese. Hey guys, and welcome back to our YouTube channel with the Ferrari 308 GT4, and this is episode 2. We'll show you in a minute how we got this into the Novel metalworking primer and the panels that were good that we put into the Novel for Classic Art Hybrid epoxy primer. So Rob will run you through that in a moment, but first I'm going to talk you through the metalwork that we are faced with at the moment. On first glance and from quite some distance, it doesn't look too bad. It's only when you get closer, you start to notice the horrors a bit more. The first thing we'll talk about is the front panel. The front panel was clagged with filler all the way across. It's had some kind of nose shunt. This has been welded down here. This is not factory. Holes here. This is tipped too far down, the edge is mangled, the nose here, this is all stretched and bulbous, and I don't know, there's some sort of mashed potato style metalwork going on here, and carry that through. Same theme throughout the front panel, so no point in trying to rectify this, so we're going to replace the whole front panel. We have looked at buying the panel, but around about 5,000 quid for the panel and no lead time whatsoever. What we might do is actually make this ourselves. So it's not too much of a difficult panel. There's quite a few contours on it, but we'll tackle that ourselves once we fit all this up, just get gapping right, and we can make it to suit just as we want it. Other metal work that we're gonna have to attack is, well, you can just see this abomination here. So someone in another life quality controlled this and thought, yeah, you know what, that's okay, and I'll be able to sleep tonight. But yeah, it's far from okay. So the tops of the wings, this whole scuttle panel needs ripping out and replacing, unfortunately, and repairs go all the way through into the dash and the return edge for the windscreen aperture as well. I mean, this is just, I'm struggling to explain it. But it made sense why the screen was bonded in with so much gloop, because all the deviations in the metalwork here, I still think it must have leaked in anyways. So this, same story both sides, and the bonnet is not gapped up nicely with these corners at all. So we've got a lot of work to do. Tops of wings, whole scuttle. Right, next, the sills have been replaced. The other side isn't too bad. This one here, we've got a huge concave in the metalwork here, so we might see if we can pull this and get that a bit straighter, so it requires less filler in that part there. But we're going up onto the roof now, so the front aperture of the sunroof has had a repair at some stage in its life. It's not the worst I've seen, but it's far from the best as well. And what it's done is put a lot of distortion into the front of this as well. So not sure how we're going to tackle that yet, but we are going to tackle it. But also there's holes around the edge here as well, where there's like a return edge. Something's happened there in its life. So that needs a lot of attention on the roof as well. Rear quarters. Now this is probably the most work, the rear quarter panels, because both these quarter panels have been replaced. If you come in closer, you can see the join line up through here. But also you can see the inconsistency of all the lines and the contours not following the factory lines. And I mean, it might be passable in some shops, but for us, nil point. Like, great big hole there. It's ridiculous. And we've also got rust on the windscreen, not the windscreen, the rear quarter window aperture here as well. So that's a nice easy bit to tackle. This, not so much, because this join line carries on through into there. So that's going to be all sorts of interesting. So originally, these whole posts here were made of 2 sections, and they were lap jointed, spot welded together, and then lead loaded down the seam. And they've just kind of roughed these panels on top and just slapped a load of MIG weld in there. So we'll probably end up cutting out a big section here, making it in 2 sections as it was from factory, lap jointing them, spot welding them together, just so it's more factory, and so we can get these lines consistent, because as you saw from the last video, this was just made of considerable amount of bog, and there's still a lot of lead in here as well. This has all been leaded. We've pulled some of the lead out. All down here, we had blistering come through from the paint. So this had been leaded again some point in its life. It wasn't factory lead, and it wasn't prepped properly, so we had bleed through onto the paint. So the rear quarters, see down here, the lower part of the rear quarters, same both sides, and this the rear balance panel as well. It's absolutely mangled, dents all through that, so that's going to be quite a metalworking exercise. And the thing with the rear quarters being replaced, this is where we're going to have issues, because they look like they've been fitted slightly differently. If you have a look at this gap here, and compared to this gap here, we've got a whole lot of difference there that we're going to have to contend with. This has also been mounted too high. The return flange has been mounted too high. So I think we're going to have to cut a lot of this out and start again with it. The engine lid, really good. We don't have to do anything with that. Same with the bonnet. Bonnet is really good. Considering they're aluminium and they're this old, it's a rarity, so that's awesome. So we're not touching these. The boot lid, the outer skin's really good. The inner frame, it's had a different life to the outer skin. So the inner frame's just, it's had repairs in it. It's got captive nuts in the inner frame, which have all been, I guess, cross-threaded and destroyed at some point in their life, and had all sorts kind of welded into it and bashed into it. So got a lot of work to do on the inner frame on this. But apart from that, panels are good. And the last thing is the doors. So the doors had huge gaps down the bottom where they met the seals, so something not right there. There's a few scabby spots in the outer skins, so we're going to cut the lower skins of the doors off, and I think there's some rust repairs to do inside the frames as well. So what we'll do is cut the lower skins of the doors off, get the frames blasted probably, and then then start attacking where we're going to replace the skins, do lower skins, or just local repairs. So I think that's the majority of the metalwork. I've probably missed something. I know I've probably missed something, but it doesn't seem like a lot, because there's actually not a lot of rust in this. But a lot of this is rectification work, which I find is actually more difficult than just having straightforward rust in original panels. Rectification work can be a time-consuming, pain in the ass exercise. Someone's been there before and basically not done their job properly.
Ready? Welcome back to part 2. As you can see, the car has been bare metalled. It is now in the booth. We are using plus 800 degreaser. This is a real strong degreaser to remove any contaminants off the surface before we apply bodywork primer. So keep watching. We'll talk about application of bodywork primer and how it's applied in a little while once this is all masked. So we're going to put it on bake for a sort of 10-15 minutes just to make sure there is no moisture on any of the panels and all the degreasers evaporated. So bodywork primer is just straight out of a tin, but it's really important that it's mixed well, because all the components, the anti-corrosive components and the weld-through components, settle in the bottom. So you need to Stir it well with your paddle stick, and then you can just put it straight in your gun. I'm going to use a 1.8 SATA RP primer gun to apply it. It's about 2 coats, as long as it's covered. So I'll sort of normally go on with a light first coat and then on with like a heavy second coat. And it's water based, so as soon as it flashes off, you can then handle it and get it straight out. Stuff and things, and that's it.
So first protocol of tackling the metalwork is we're going to start with the doors. So get the skins or the lower skins cut off, send them for blasting, and then we're going to repin the door hinges. So I've managed to source some door hinges, but the actual posts which the hinge pins go into are worn. So we're going to drill them out, or sorry, ream them out and sleeve those with bronze bushes so we can repin them and they'll be solid. So we'll have no play whatsoever. So that's first protocol. And we'll follow you, well, we'll film as we go along, and you can see the process in which we do it. Cool, enjoy. So now onto the doors. We sent these off for shot blasting actually, because there was areas of them which were very suspect that we could not get into to clean, and they've come back in a sorry state of affairs. So we've cut the bottoms of the skins off initially so they could blast inside the frames, and we are actually going to do a half skin on these doors. So just below the swage line, we're going to reskin the bottom halves. I'm going to pass you on to Johnny in a minute because he's going to run you through how he's going to attack the door skins and also the door frames as well, because they are pretty shit.
So one of the first steps we've got to do with the door, before making any of the repairs to the frame, we actually need to basically get our lower skin shaped up first before we cut away any of the skin that's already there. So that's what we've been doing here. So this has been just initially put through the rollers just to get our initial contour. So we've got the contour here, which was from the original edge of the door. So you can see we've got that running along there nice, all the way. Once we've got this, we've still got to put a little bit of curve in this way, so we're going to run it through the English wheel. Once that's done, we'll be able to start tackling all of these rusted and damaged sections of the frame here. So a lot of this is going to need cutting out and replacing. And then once that's done, we should be able to tack our skin in place and then have a good door. Basically to look at all of this damage. Yeah, there's plenty of return edges and stuff in there that are going to need doing.
Have you got that set? No, the worst fucking album used as it is. Yeah, let's pinch up a bit more than that. Right, start right, come right to the edge.
Yeah, I'll let you do the steering. Okay, so we've just ran the lower skin panel through the English wheel to put some of the curve back in this direction. So if you look at the panel here, if you press down, you can see the gap we've basically got from the arch. So basically we put it through the English wheel a couple of times, really light pressure to try and emulate that. So then pop the panel on and you push down on one side the same as what we just did. You can see that the shape matches up the same as before, and then we've also managed to keep our curve in this direction the same. Spot on. So after we've got all the shape in the panel, we ran round with the pinch roller just to get an edge here, just so that we have it marked ready to fold over later. But the step now is to get some of the Novel primer on the back of this, basically because a lot of these areas are not going to be able to be got to once the skin's on the door. So this is basically protecting the metal for where we can't get epoxy. And it's in a lovely red.
Tomorrow we can always...
Well, we can do it for the other door if it's no good. Yeah, I think... Okay, we're back here with the Ferrari doors. Basically, we've done a lot of work repairing the frame here from both rust damage, which was basically all the way down this side and part of the way down the side, and then also cleaning up basically where there was a bunch of crap welds all along these, so they've been ground back and re-welded. The return edge this side had been, I assume at some point, completely rusted away and replaced in a wrong manner. All of this was cut out, so this had to be reboxed in to put strength back into the frame. Obviously coated in the Novel bodywork primer. Basically this one's ready for the lower skin.
I've got nothing to say to you.
Now Johnny has finished repairing the door frames, then I'm going to reattach the hinges so we can hang it back to the vehicle to finalise the position of our new door skins. So we actually sent the hinges off in the end, because we didn't have the facilities to ream them dead straight. So they've all been reamed out now and had some bespoke bronze bushes installed into them. We go for the bronze bushes because they're like a phosphor bronze, like a self-oiling bronze bush, and also as well it's a serviceable item now as well, so the wear would be, if it wore in the future, would be in the bushes and not the hinges themselves. So if they get slop in the future, it's probably going to be a good few years before that happens, then the hinges, the bushes can be pressed out and replaced nice and easy. So yeah, we numbered these on the doors before stripping them down, so we know exactly the position where they go back on. So hopefully there should be a nice interference fit. So just with a punch and some light taps on the handle, they should go in lovely. So, well, that's the plan anyways. See how that goes. Nothing ever really goes to plan. That's gone in absolutely lovely. Get that nice solid stop. So that's when you know it's driven home. No playing it whatsoever. And moves freely, it's not binding up or anything, no play at all. Awesome. What we had to do is on the end of the pins, so we've had just machine out the groove a bit bigger to compensate for the extra thickness that the bronze bushes are taking up. So yeah, nice and easy. Time to do the rest now. Excellent, so that's one door with the hinges fit up, all new pins, all new bushes, serviceable components now, and they've got grease nipples as well, so anything that's there, grease will go in, pack them out, siphon them up a bit, and yeah, they'll be all good. So we can rehang these now knowing that they're not going to sag and they're going to be in the right place. Right, so upon final fitment of the doors with all the new hinge pins and bushes in place, we've come across some more problems. So on the left hand side, fitting up the door frame, trying to gap it up, and we actually decided to run a straight edge across the bottom of the sill, and this is the side that's got all the deformation down here. So this sill has actually got a lot of run out, which means it tapers off quite considerably, like up to 10 mil in places. So that's going to cause us issues when positioning our door skin and getting that tipped over. So we need to hold fire on that until we've rectified the sill. Other side, we're good to go. The sill all marries up nicely there. And we've even cross-referenced measurements from the door aperture, that side to this side. And yeah, it's this side that is definitely running out. So until we've rectified the sill, then we're not going to be able to finish this door skin. So on that note, we're going to finish this episode up now. And next episode we're going to start actually on the metalwork on back end and work our way forward, and then hopefully we get to tackle this sill and then we can finish up the door skins. So again, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, all that jazz, hit the notification button so you know when the next episode drops. So cool, peace out.